Welcome back. Comedian Josh Berry is on a mission to turn toxic masculinity on its head by encouraging men to open up and tell their friends they love them. To achieve this, he invites two men onto the stage of his stand-up shows, and this is an example of the result.
Right, now is your time.
I'm outstanding. I love you, Tom.
Bring it in! That's what it's all about! Yes! Give it up for Robbie and Tom! Yes! Let's hear it for them!
I love this. I should say, Josh, I'm a massive fan of your work as well. If you don't know Josh, he does these very, very funny sketches on Instagram, other social media sites as well.
I was just going to say, by the way, you get two people that already know each other to do this.
Yes.
Yeah, this is not about to happen.
Yeah.
It's not about to happen.
Do you tell your friends that you love them, Will?
I don't, no.
Oh.
But
No,
do you
sounds like I
love
need
them?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I tell my brother I love him.
Yeah,
That counts.
No, I'm all for trying it. I think this is a very good point. Our director says he loves me. Steady on, mate. But no, I mean, I guess central to your point on this is that we are all too much behind walls, and that you think that's directly linked to the growth of sort of a more toxic masculinity.
I think so. I mean, I think we often talk about kind of male isolation and male loneliness and don't really discuss why that's happening, like structurally. And I think often it is actually often like a sort of homosexual anxiety a lot of men feel because they're afraid that expressing love for their friends is in some way, you know, not archetypally masculine. And so that was what I wanted to try and kind of unpick.
Yeah. And you do it through your comedy as well, I guess, sort of putting kind of mirror up against some of the more ridiculous behaviours that we see. Is it fair to say?
Yeah, because I think, I don't know, this topic has been discussed obviously very earnestly and very seriously, but I think there's a lot of very humorous elements to it. There's a lot of dissonance in masculinity. It's so performative and yet also deeply terrified of doing anything that isn't sort of, manly.
Do you tell your friends you love them as well, then?
I do, yeah. I mean, this show was kind of, as well as forcing men to do it, it was about me talking about my journey of telling my best friend that I love him when I was made his best man. And the fact that I found that very difficult. Because we all have it within us, I think, this reservation around expressing love in that way.
Do you think comedy has made it possible to break the ice on that? Is it an easier way to get through it because it's not just the serious point?
Yeah, I think it kind of... Well, comedy's seductive, right? So it allows you to kind of soften people a little bit and make points that maybe they would be not really turned on to if you weren't being funny with it. So, yeah.
And how did it go on the... Have you ever had any really awkward moments on the stage where people just haven't been able to do it?
Yeah, how do you select the two people as well?
Yeah.
Normally, young men are quite pliable, I've found. Older men are a little bit more...
More barriers.
Yeah, they're way more barriers. They're just trickier. They'll be much more like, if you talk to them, they'll just be like, don't talk to me. And you learn that doing stand-up for years. They'll just be like, I don't want to talk to you. And you're like,
I used to go to a lot of stand-up, but I always would sit at the back and slouch down. Because as a tall, posh bloke, you just get eviscerated. If you picked up...
well, as a tall, posh bloke...
exactly. This is where at least there's a bit of strength in there. So we can't mock tall, posh people too much today.
We're all for tall, posh
Solidarity,
people. Absolutely.
Standing up against Gary's economics.
Can I talk to you a bit...
He's been on the show, friend of the show.
We love all...
No, I love him.
Everyone.
I love him and I agree with everything he says. My house in Islington.
Can we talk about politicians, please? Because do we see different masculinity on display with our politicians? I don't know if there's anyone that you fancy, impersonating. Maybe we can try and guess who you're going to do. I don't know.
I just miss the days. I mean, I had a long routine in the show about how I miss the days of Boris Johnson and the kind of virility that Boris Johnson had, obviously, we know the numbers, we know how many kids he has. And there was something very sort of masculine about that, and he was quite funny, and obviously he was a bin fire of a prime minister, but there was something, kind of virile about him. And Keir Starmer, by comparison, I feel like is quite repressed. And Boris Johnson, even though he was sort of, I didn't really know what he was saying, there was something sort of seductive about him. Whereas Keir Starmer sort of repressed, and I can't really imagine Keir making love to a woman at all.
Oh, my God.
Now we're having to imagine it. Stop.
No, but you can't. That's the thing. You actually can't do it.
How do you think they'd react if you got them on stage and asked them to tell their friends that they love them?
Or tell each other that they love each other.
I reckon Boris would be. He probably tells people he loves them all the time.
Yeah, but I feel like he'd be lying. Whereas, he'd do it, but it would be a lie. I think Keir Starmer could. I think that would be deeply uncomfortable. I mean, most people that I got up on the stage were uncomfortable and still said it.
Yeah. Then that's why it's quite nice and moving in a way.
Can I just draw a little bit more? Because I'm interested in a lot of people think, Boris is a great communicator, obviously won tons of votes. I guess Keir Starmer won tons of votes as well. But I think the comms of the government hasn't been fantastic over the last 18 months. I don't think they'd be upset for us saying that. Is there something that you can observe in the way they both communicate? I mean, I guess Rishi Sunak wasn't a great communicator either. It's not party political, this. What allowed Boris to cut through in that way?
Well, I feel like it's kind of the point I made earlier about, comedy's seductive, right? Boris was very good at seducing the people he was talking to because he was funny. And I don't think Keir Starmer is particularly funny or charismatic, even though he aligns much more with the sort of politics that I prefer. I don't think he... But the constant thing with Boris Johnson is, you go for a pint with Boris Johnson. That's what people would always say, right? I don't feel like I want to drink ale with Keir Starmer, do you?
We're neutral on all these
Sorry,
issues.
you're neutral,
is what we would say to that question. We have no opinions on which politicians we would prefer or not prefer to
going down the pub with anybody right now sounds pretty good because it's kind of like Friday night for us. Thursday,
exactly.
Thursday 9 a.m.
9:30 in the morning. This is 9 p.m. for us.
With enough beers, would you tell them you love them?
Yeah. Well, exactly. With enough beers, you say anything. Just to round things off, because this particular kind of campaign within your tour was in person, but it's coming to your YouTube channel, and
yes,
and otherwise your what do you enjoy doing the most? The short clips on Instagram, the long live performances. What kind of is your favourite?
I think live is the most fun thing. It's the thing I sort of started doing, and then I started doing Instagram as a way to kind of promote the live stuff. But live is great. It felt like in that show I could kind of, I don't know, get people to laugh themselves out of ideas that they'd internalised quite strongly. So that felt fun, and
Well, we've loved having you on.
Yeah.
Well,
I love you. Love you. Great stuff.
We've never met before. That was a bit weird.
I didn't find it weird. I actually really enjoyed that.
Wilf, I'm really proud of you. That was amazing.
Yeah.
I love
breaking down barriers.
There we go. Absolutely incredible stuff.